Hey, Mike here with Mike's Bags, and today I'm reviewing the Melt by Noble Cornhole. Some of you may remember I reviewed another bag by Noble called the Jinx. I did that a while ago. Absolutely loved the bag, loved everything about the bag, but I hated the process that you had to do to get the bags. It was just so frustrating and very time consuming. Well, Noble's fixed that. And so I called Noble out in the Jinx video about that, so I felt like I owed it to them to now bring a new video to you and update you on the process, and I'll get to that later here. But let's go ahead and start with the Melt. The design. So Noble has, I think it's 4 different model bags they have. And each one of their bags on their website, they have 2 different designs. And then each of the designs, they have a couple different colorways. So there's quite a few options. This is actually the same design I got on the Jinx. There's something about it that just really appeals to my eye. I really like it. It's simple, but I like it. I like the fact they put their model really big and bold in the front, and the back is their logo, the Noble Cornhole logo. So it's very simple. It's very easily identifiable. I really like the looks of their bags. The materials here, this is a faster bag. It's the same material on both sides, they just flipped it over. So the slow side here is the Game Changer material. That's right, the Game Changer fast side is the slow side of the Melt. That's an 8 speed, some people call it 8.5. It's a fast 8, I'm gonna go with an 8, but it's definitely a fast 8 on the slow side. The fast side, same material, they just flipped it over, and so now you've got the Pro Sniper, the Deadhead, the Viper material on the fast side here. That's a 9 speed, so you've got an 8-9 speed bag. This is definitely a fast bag, player's bag. The best bag I can compare it to for materials would be the Lucky Bag Celtics. It's very comparable to that. So if you're familiar with that bag, it's kind of what you've got going on here. But the 8-9 speed, the template, it's a good medium-sized template. It's really, as I mentioned before, it's kind of my favorite size template. So you've got that nice medium-sized template. The fill, it's got a fair amount of fill in here. It's not crazy floppy, like it's not as floppy as say a Pro Sniper or even a Viper. Although these bags are not fully broken, there's still more room to go. These can break a little more, and I think they will flop up some. But you've got a decent amount of flop here. But again, it's not just crazy floppy, so it means you've got a decent amount of fill, which gives you a good hand feel in here. And the fill that Noble uses is a blended fill. I think it's mostly that small disc, but there are some small beads in there as well. I'm pretty sure it's the same fill they used in the Jinx. In fact, I think I remember reading on Noble's website, they use the same fill in all their bags. I'm not 100% positive, but I recall reading that somewhere. So anyway, it's a wonderful, gives it a wonderful hand feel. It actually causes this bag to really land really softly and run very true and straight up the board. So it takes any bit of kick, which these materials aren't going to kick anyway. They're so fast, they're not going to grab and stick. They're going to run up the board pretty true anyway. But this bag is definitely a straight and true running bag for you. Playability. So this is a fast bag, lover's dream bag. It's a bag that you're just planning on running bags in the hole. You're going to outscore your opponent. You're going to try to put 4 bags in every time and hope your opponent misses. This is not a bag that you're throwing blockers. It's not a bag that you're throwing cut shots. You're not throwing rolls. You're not flopping. You're throwing a bag. You're sliding in the hole. If your opponent throws a blocker, you're either pushing through or you're air mailing over it. You may throw a get around shot here or there with it, but all in all, it's pretty straightforward. That you're just going to put every bag in the hole and you're going to challenge your opponent to make a mistake on their own. And it does a wonderful job. I mean, both these materials on here are very hole friendly. So you get them up near the hole, they're going to grab the hole, they're going to spin around, it's going to melt in, hence the name Melt, right? It really does melt in the hole. If a bag does hang on the hole, I may have had a couple times where a bag hung on the hole. They're very easy to collect. It doesn't take much to collect. I think the only times I really recall leaving bags on the hole was if it was like my 3rd or 4th bag and I didn't have enough bags to end up collecting. But for the most part, these bags are very easy to collect. In fact, you have a bag up there. I just threw my next bag in, put it in. It usually once it touched it, it just kind of dragged in or pulled it in on its own. Very easy to go in. I hardly ever use the fast side. Really, to me, this Game Changer fast side is plenty fast. And a little bit of it, I should have put this disclaimer at the beginning. I am not a fast bag thrower, right? For those of you watching my videos, I tend to like slower bags. I tend to play more of a control style game, more of a dirty style game. So it was an adjustment for me to learn to throw this bag. In fact, typically when I go record videos, I'll go throw a few down and backs, turn the camera on, and start recording. I had to throw these for quite a while to get a feel for them because when I started throwing these just from my normal throw, I was just blasting bag after bag off the bag. I just couldn't keep them on the board. I really had to throw a higher throw, a softer landing. I had to actually move my landing spot a little further down on the board trying to land it, but not, I threw a lot of front boards and I threw a lot of bags off the back when I was first trying to throw these bags out. So it did take me a while before I could get consistent enough to start recording the video. And even you'll see in the video still, I still threw some off the back of the board. Actually, I did a little more editing. There were a few times I clipped some of these throws out because they were throws where I was just throwing bags off the back, and it's not fair to the bag or Noble for you to watch me throw bags off the back of the board, right? So anyway, not a bag that I would typically throw. However, I did enjoy throwing this to some point. Once I got in a groove, like this is a bag, if you're a consistent thrower and you can hit that same spot on the board repeatedly over and over again, if you can just repeatedly throw that same bag over and over again, this is the bag you want, because you get it hitting that little landing zone. It's a decent sized landing zone. It's going in the hole. You get it up near the hole, it's going to go in the hole. The advantage of having a fast kind of melty bag like this is even if you're a little off left or right, as long as it can get a corner to grab the hole, it's going to grab it, spin around, and probably drop right in. As long as you're not if you throw it too hard, yeah, it's going to fly off the back. But if you can control your speed and get it to land right and slide up there, as long as you're near the hole, it's going in the hole. The disadvantage to a bag like this is if you're off on that landing just a little bit left or right and you miss the hole, the bag is probably going to go either off the back of the board, or if it stays on the board, it's going to be behind the hole or beside the hole. It's going to be out of play and not collectible. And that's where I think you have to make a decision for yourself. The stickier bags, when you miss your landing spot, they're still on the board. So either they're collectible by you or they're on your opponent's side and become a blocker or at least an obstacle for them to work around. So they still kind of stay in play. This bag, if you miss, it's going off the side. However, again, it's so forgiving. You get it near the hole, it's going in the hole. If it hangs in the hole, it's going to fall in the hole pretty much, unless it's your last bag, it's going in. These things just want to melt in the hole. For me, I would keep this bag in my backpack if I play a lot in humid conditions, sticky boards, slow boards. These materials will slow down a little bit of humidity, but not a lot. So you're going to, instead of go an 8-9, you end up with like a 7-8 speed bag or a 6-8, 6-7 speed bag, right? So it becomes instead of a faster bag, it becomes a medium fast bag in those humid conditions and becomes a lot more playable. Both these materials still slide up on those damp, humid condition boards. They still slide up on sticky boards. I think for me, that's where this bag comes into play. This is also a great bag if you're playing somebody who plays a dirty style game and you don't want to play that game with them. Like if I come up against an opponent who I know plays a dirty style game and does it better than me, then I don't want to challenge them to a dirty style game, right? Because if they're better than me, they're going to beat me at it. So this is where I pull this bag out, because if your opponent throws a blocker, I don't care how sticky it is. I'm just throwing my regular bag. I don't have to get crazy. I don't have to throw harder. My regular bag, I'm probably pushing through it. At worst, I'm going to push and replace and leave my bag there, right? So it's still going to be in play. So the beauty of this is you don't have to go crazy hard. It's going to push through bags. If there's multiple bags, 2 or 3 bags up there, you flip it over on the fast side and throw it, it's going to bust through that. It's going to push through. It's going to take your bag, collect your bags there, bust their bags out of the way. So it's definitely a bag for the sticky slow boards. It's a bag for if you're playing against an opponent who likes to throw really dirty, slow, sticky bags. Or if you're just a player who has a higher, softer throw, I think this will fit for you. It's also a bag that if you don't throw a flat bag, it's not going to punish you. Because again, it lands so softly. If you've got a tilt either way on it, it's still going to hit, flatten out, and run right up the board. So it's not going to punish you on the tilt of the bag or the lack of a flat bag. So if you fall into those categories, you definitely want to check the melt out. If you like fast style bags, you're going to love the melt. It definitely is a fast, hole friendly bag. Now, availability. So for those of you who don't have Facebook, Noble has a website, noblecornhole.com. I'll put a link in the description. Their bags are there. They're pretty much readily available. In the past, what I hated about them was their bags were never available. You just had to constantly check the website, and they would just put stock or inventory on there whenever it came available. There was no rhyme or reason to it. You never knew when it was going to happen. You had to constantly waste time checking the website. Well, now they have inventory pretty much on hand for the most part. I think when I went on there, all of their models were available. Some of the colors were out of stock, but that's acceptable and it's understandable. You still could pick up, any model bag you wanted of the 4 models. They had them available. They all run, I think, $85 for a set, and there was like $9 shipping. So looking about $94 shipped to you, which is very reasonable. It's kind of on that lower to mid range of price. It's a high quality bag. I'm not upset at all for that price. I would definitely pay that again. In fact, I'm probably going to pick up a couple of their other models. I may go ahead and do a full review of them because I'm really liking what Noble's doing with their bags. And now that they have their inventory straightened out and you can actually get bags, I recommend them. I say go check them out. I think you're going to love the what Noble does. Again, the Jinx, love the Jinx. It was a Costello style bag. Now you got the Melt, which is like a Lucky Bag Celtic style bag. They've also got a slower bag, and then they got the Mockery, which is a slower bag, and then they got the Zenith, which is a kind of a step between the Jinx and the Melt here. So anyway, highly recommend Noble. Go check them out, noblecornhole.com. I thank you guys for your support, and thanks for watching.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding. From the words I spit, so sharp, so freezing. So cold, behold, frostbite they feeling. I could